Here's something that has worked for me a lot in the past. On days when I'm just not feeling it. On days when it's time to work out and I'm like, oh God. Here's what I do. I give myself permission to not train that day after I get dressed. Normally, after I put on my gi and go to class, or after I put on my gi and my training partner comes over, or after I get my workout gear on and go to the gym, I usually get a second wind. It may not be the most epic workout of all time, but it's going to be a workout. It may not be going to failure on every single rep, on every single set until I'm completely exhausted. It may just be to get the muscles moving. It may be to challenge them in a relatively safe, relatively constrained way. That's okay. But what I've done is I've given myself permission that once I put on my workout gear, be that a gi, be that a rash guard, be that shorts, once I put that on and once I go to the training place, if I still completely don't feel it, it's okay at that point to back off. So that means that maybe once or twice a year a workout gets canceled. I find that this is a good balance. It gives me that out. My body, by the time I've gone through the process of putting on that gear and gone to the gym, or put on that gear and gone to a place where people are training, if I still completely don't feel it, basically it's a little voice inside my head, it's my spider senses tingling, it's going, don't bloody train today, Kesting. You know your body, you're gonna get hurt. Then it's okay to back off. I find that a really useful little, almost a pressure release valve, right? Like it takes some of the pressure off and it means I can go. And if I go and train, then that's great. It's one more session on the mats. It's one more time in the gym. It's one more time on the treadmill. It's one more time heading up a mountain. Like I said, it's not going to be an epic workout if you're particularly tired, but doing something is better than nothing. It's one of my favorite sayings. I've said it before in previous podcasts and previous videos. Doing something is better than doing nothing. And if you give yourself permission once in a while to get ready to do something and then in the end to say, nope, I'm out. I'm tapping out, I'm done, and you use that out a couple times a year, great. You're going to lose a couple training sessions a year, but the net result, ironically, is you're going to get on the mat more often. You're going to get into the gym more often. So, can you train when you're tired? Yes, but you're not going to go epically hard. Can you train when you're tired? Yes, just be careful. It's not the day to try out some crazy new technique. It's not the day to have that death roll with that 240-pound, super muscular, made of bricks, blue belt who's killing everybody, including the brown belts, and who moves super dynamically, because that's going to be the day that he stuffs your leg past you, your toe gets caught, it's going to rip your knee. That's not the day to go super hard. Usually, doing something is better than nothing, but it doesn't need to be fully out. I think this is a lie perpetuated by the bodybuilding community, actually. Especially if you grew up on bodybuilding magazines like I did 20 years ago, 30 years ago. There was a certain school of thought that you always went to failure on every single rep and that you needed to go to failure to have benefit. And a friend of mine, basically the guy who taught me how to weight train, told me right off the bat, he said, you're going to read all this in the magazines, don't believe it, it's bullshit. Can you get results from sub-maximal effort? Absolutely. Yes, you can. There are definitely times to train hard. There are definitely times to push through. There are definitely times to, balls to the wall training as hard as you can. But if you're particularly exhausted, that's not the day to do it. I hope this helps. I hope this helps clarify your thinking about this topic. It's like that old joke, take my advice. I'm not using it. I'm getting better about using my own advice, at least some of the time. I've made these mistakes over and over and over, and I carry with me to this day some of the scars, the aches, and the pains of pushing it on days when I really shouldn't have pushed it. If you're watching this as a YouTube video, if you haven't already subscribed, man, you really should. If you're listening to this as a podcast, I'd love a review and a rating on iTunes. Whether it's a good review or a bad review, I'm going to be doing a lot more with this podcast in the future, so that would be really useful. Take care. Good luck with your training.